Welcome to Happy Hour Hug Nation, October 30th, 2012. Let's take a moment, just get present into this now. This perfect now, the only time that ever exists. What a gift. Let go of the day, let go of the to-dos, let go of your labels, your identities, your responsibilities, and just for the next few minutes, let's just be, receive, allow. See if there is a vibration, a voice, a pull that just is part of what we are when we let go of the mind. We let go of the stories. What exists in the now, and we just receive it. Start to notice sounds, sensations in your body. And as you practice and tune in, you may start to hear a deeper sound, the sound of your heart telling you what your desire is, what your bliss is, how you can be of service to the world, inspiration of artistic expression, and how to spread your perfect love. Thank you, Universe, for all the gifts. Help us to appreciate. Fill us with joy so we may spread joy in the world. Amen. Welcome! Well, trying a new light tonight. And I don't know about your feeling, but so far, I feel a little bright and shiny. But that's okay. Welcome to Happy Hour. This afternoon we talked about kind of an extension of the topic of you find evidence for whatever you're looking for. So that archive will be online in about an hour if you want to check that out. I think tonight will be kind of casual. The question of the day is, what are the good things, or what are the cone, or what's the positive that can happen in natural disasters? And so if you want to add to that, I'll read those later. Those are on the Facebook page, the Hug Nation page. There's a whole opportunity to share yours, and we'll read those in a few minutes. You know, it's been an interesting 24 hours as the East Coast has been blasted by Sandy, and to see what a different experience a natural disaster is when you have social media. You know, it was fascinating to be watching Twitter as people were sharing and then resharing firsthand accounts, photos, videos of this massive storm and how it was affecting. It's also interesting to see how, you know, fake Photoshop pictures would just spread like wildfire. The video that kind of, whoa, is the one that I saw was the explosion of the power plant. Anyone see that? That was like, whoa. And also a big kind of like scary wake-up call, because one of the things that keeps coming up is like, hey, you know, we have a ton of nuclear sites all over the world that, especially all over the U.S., that are old and susceptible to natural disasters, and being without power for a couple of days is one thing. Having radioactive food for the next 5 years is something else entirely. Pizza Mancer says, I like the shirtless guy with a horse mask. If you didn't see that video, there was a video where this woman was like, there's a great, actually, if you see, there's a tribute, or a video that Conan did, where he said, it's a tribute to those brave reporters who are out there facing the storm. And they had this clip of this woman who's like, you know, they've advised everyone to stay inside, and whatever you do, so she's all bundled up. And then behind her, like 20 feet behind her, 3 guys in their underwear run out in the street and start dancing in the rain. And it's just like, it was such a crapper cone, or such a, there's a great quote, I don't remember exactly how it goes, but it's like, the goal is not to withstand the storm or survive the storm. The goal is to dance in the rain. And this is a perfect example of that. You know, the news is telling you, freak out and hunker down and try to survive. And then these guys in the background are like, it's raining. Now, don't get me wrong. There's every reason in the world to take precaution and be careful and follow the instructions. I mean, people died, like 20 people died. But I don't think it is a tragic thing. Well, let me take that back. People die. I can't pretend that I think that that's a tragic thing. People die. It's the most natural thing in the world is that things are born and things die. Now, during the period of time when someone who is in our life and we have to transition to getting used to them not being in our life, that's hard. But everyone, life is a terminal disease. I think ideally we don't want to die in an accident before. Well, I mean that's true. If you have a choice of living, till you're being 30-year-old and being vibrant and experiencing the extent of the human experience and taking risks, and then you die in an accident, is that not more or as valid as doing what you're told, following the rules, playing it safe, and living to be 80? I mean, clearly I'm of the mind that it's the magic moments, not the amount of time that makes a life worth living and value. Not value. Not even worth living. There's no value judgment. A baby that is born for an hour, it's hard for a human brain to understand, but I can't. Nature does these things. The universe has these things. There's famines and there's surges in population and growth in every type of plant and animal in the world. And to think that human beings, because we have logical thought, we can somehow think our way outside of nature. That's the cause of so much of our problems. I mean, the world, the planet kept itself in balance quite beautifully for eternity. I mean, since it was created, until human beings started to figure out how to think around it and pollute it and dam it up and seawall it. Now, that's temporary because the planet will figure out. Everything corrects, everything autocorrects, everything figures itself out, and the planet will too, whether it's through disease or evolution of our side. It's who's to say? But nothing in the fractal nature of the universe would say that things won't equalize. I've been thinking a lot lately. Oh, and if you haven't noticed, I'm embracing happy hour tonight. I'm drinking an IPA. It's an interesting thought game to think about progress and technology as a virus. Human beings existed as a part of the natural cycles of our planet for a very, very long time. And I'm bad with numbers, so I'm afraid to actually say what I think it is. But I think it's, a huge chunk of time on the. I mean, well, human beings haven't been around a long time, but of the percentage of time that human beings have been around, they were in the balance of nature, working as without cultivation, as hunter-gatherers, that type of thing. Just like every other species, keep being, dying when there's too many of you and not enough food, and thriving when there's a lot of food, riding the cycles just like every other species, until we caught the virus of progress and technology. And then we started cultivating, then we started building cities, and this exponential growth, which then pollutes all sorts of things. It's kind of like a cancer in a body, right? And, either it kills its host, or it figures something out. I mean, or it dies off. I mean, nature has already dealt with this type of thing in all different ways. Maybe not exactly in this scale, but in bigger and smaller scales, absolutely. That's what nature does. Now, the other side of the argument is kind of what I heard Joe Rogan say, which is that this virus actually is is a requirement for evolution, and that we have to go through this very destructive phase of information technology growth for us to get to singularity, basically, where we wed technology and biology and create this kind of, if you're familiar with singularity, I'm not enough to speak to it, but there is this idea that 30, 50 years from now or less, biology and technology will combine, and we will be able to have the computer will wake up, and we will be able to rule based not on our emotions but based on logic. And again, I'm not qualified to speak to this. Some people think it's very exciting. Some people think it's very scary. This thought was that we have to go through this very destructive thought. There's the idea that a being that is wed with all the processing power of all the computers of the world and also has biology would recognize the destructive nature of our culture, which is maybe what is the basis of half the science fiction movies, that the computers go, holy shit, these human beings are like a virus. That's the thing in the Matrix, right? Mr. Anderson, Smith basically says, holy shit, humanity is a virus. It's going to kill the host. We got to take it out. I don't know where I got going on this. I have not had enough food today for this to be hitting me so hard. Woo, woo, woo. Okay. So, I am not a alarmist when it comes to natural disasters. I am, however, becoming a bit open to the discussion that what the fuck is up with weather lately? And if this isn't a symptom of, climate change, what is it a symptom of? Is this, chemtrails, something? But, I mean, in San Diego right now, it is still summer weather. We had like a couple days of coolness. I mean, it has been summer for like 9 months. Okay, that's an exaggeration. But it's freaky and it's weird. And you look across the country and just everything is fucking crazy. So, okay, so in that sense, I'm a little shocked. Not shocked. I go back to that thought of like, whoa, look what the virus is happening, or look what the host is doing to try to combat the virus. What does a body do when it has sickness? It tries to kill it off with a fever or other, white blood cells. It does what it has to do to protect the body, and the earth is a living system, just like a body is a living system. So if it takes natural disaster or bird flu or whatever to try to heal itself, my feeling is the body is just the earth is going through a process of self-preservation. Ashwin Good says, we had nothing but 2 months of sun in Seattle. And this is not necessarily a bad thing for us, but not at all normal. Not necessarily a bad thing. Again, is 9 months of summer a bad thing? I mean, only in the thought of... Actually, I don't have the understanding of the whole system to know, but my guess is that huge amounts of sunshine and not much rain means, yay, lots of picnic days. And it means that the ecosystems that depend on all that rain and cloud, which then creates this moss structure, which then supports this undergrowth, which then supports this, it all gets tweaked. Everything's interconnected. There's that thought that we can remove, we can spray a pesticide, kill off one thing, and be happier and expect no consequences. Like, no, it's all connected. You do that, you fuck with the penguins. Or not penguins, pelicans. Always comes back to pelicans. Um, so that being said, I do find it a little, it's a fascinating thing, the consequences of climate change, because I think it's even, if what we're experiencing now is the results of climate change, it's actually more drastic than we were even prepping for a few years ago when Inconvenient Truth was coming out. It's like, holy shit, this is, you can see it right now. Freestyle Fox says it's from Indiana. We had wildfires through the cornfields and on the sides of the highways. The drought was horrible. Luckily, we've got genetically engineered seed that is going to just grow in those burnt fields beautifully for a year or two. And then it's going to create a super locust that will eat babies. But in general, like, I think that natural disasters are a beautiful thing in that they remind us that life is precious and fragile, and that the illusion of security that we think that we can build it's an illusion. I love watching like historical dramas of like these families that would like move out west, or explorers that would come to the New World. I mean, it was expected that people are going to die along the way. It's just like life is extremely dangerous. There's disease and harm all over the place. To be a human being and not expect accidents to take a certain percentage of everybody you know is just part of life. And while that sounds shocking, I also think it's beautiful, because what it does is it pounces you into this preciousness. And so you don't make decisions on safety, 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 safety. We are way too safe. The number of people that have the opportunity to pack up a backpack and walk around and meet people and explore the world is almost everyone. The number that does it is very few, because it's scary. Who knows what could happen? But if we lived in a world where, fuck, dude, the chances of, a bear killing you or a warring tribe scalping you, somebody I take it back, 30% of the people you know are going to be dead in 5 years. Then you would probably think to yourself, well, shit, dude, I'm going to take some risks. Fuck this playing safe. And I think that is a gift that we have lost. If you are stressed and you are not enjoying life because you have not accumulated enough resources to make you feel safe in your retirement, I can't begin to tell you how much that is missing it. In my mind, I'm from someone who does not have a retirement plan. I have some money in the bank. I don't have offspring, so I'm probably in a very, it's easy for you to say. That's true. But as Byron Katie would say, what do you really want to be teaching your kids? That life is about creating safety for the future? Or that life is about finding joy and experiencing life? And how do you teach that? By leading by example, by living your life. As I say that, I recognize that I spend the majority of my time in my living room looking at my computer, so I'm kind of talking to myself right now. So I say thank you for the reminder of danger, Mother Nature. Thank you for the reminder that there is no way to ensure safety. There's no amount of money that can protect us from a natural disaster. There's no amount of money that can protect us from a health ailment. In fact, if we get too stressed about our safety, we actually create the things that will kill us. So let's be grateful for being in this now, for being alive in this moment, for sharing this vibration, for being in a body that can experience touch, sensation, thought, and love. The length of your life is meaningless. The amount of love that you project into the world is everything. And if it takes a reminder that life is fleeting to open the floodgates and stop hoarding, protecting, well then, thank you for the reminders. And we thank those that we may have lost along the way, for the reminder of all things being transitory. And we take a moment to think of someone we've lost, think about their smile and their laughter. Now let's have a Hug Nation. Grab yourselves by the shoulders. And at least for this day, we are alive. And we have infinite opportunities and possibilities. If you think you are trapped, unless you are paralyzed or imprisoned, you have choices. That is something that we forget. We think that with not enough money, with not enough opportunity or skills or education, that we are trapped. We are free in thought and in movement and in experience in ways the world has never known. Thank you, universe, for giving us these opportunities to be alive in this time, and alive in a time when this technology can connect us with other people with open hearts and vibrations of love, and those trying to tune in with their highest selves and help that remind us of our highest selves. Once a week, we enjoy Hug Nation as a recalibration to snap back to who we are. Not what they tell us we are. Not what we're afraid of. Who we are. Conscious beings able to ponder, able to have empathy, able to have imagination, to visualize our dreams, to create. Not create for the sake of making money. Perhaps to acquire resources, to make more, to create more, to express more, to take the energy of our divine self and express it in visual ways, in matter. So let's forgive ourselves for losing track of that at times, for getting caught up in the game, for getting caught up in safety. And let's forgive everybody else too. Sometimes it can be so persuasive, and the other guy can be so idiotic. And we forget that simply being witness to it all is the greatest gift. Simply having the freedom to express and be and love. Maybe all we could ever ask for. And that when we can truly fill our well up with joy, when we can love ourselves and see ourselves connected, and recognize that when we are full, then we are powerful in a place to be of service to the world. We don't have to try to change the world. We just have to follow our true nature, and we have no choice but to help the world become a better place. Let's take one breath together as the one connected entity. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. On behalf of Grandpa Caleb and all the Love Warriors, happy Hug Nation. I love you. I am so glad you are you. And I'm so glad you're alive today. What a gift. We made it all the way to now. Now, let's go live enthusiastically, vibrantly, and with open hearts so that tomorrow, as the day ends, we go, woohoo, once again. Namaste.